Clinton.
Thanks, Chair. I've got a lot to say about this project, so bear with me. I will not be supporting the recommendation, and I will vote to defeat this. And if it is defeated, I'll be moving forward option 4. I want to talk about cost of living, inflation, immigration, local government responsibilities, empathy, and leadership. So I'll make my way through my notes pretty quickly here. I'm a political nerd, and my viewing consists of CPAC and the Canucks. The Canucks were out of the playoffs pretty quick, so it's just CPAC. I was listening to Pierre Poilievre's speech yesterday, and for the record, I also listened to Carney, and I'd listen to the NDP leader too if they had one, but he made a point in his speech that if you were to buy a house today with gold, it would actually be half the cost it was in 1956. So how is housing so expensive? Why is it out of reach for so many people? We're in a strange moment. People who bought 5 years ago and are renewing their mortgages this year, first-time home buyers, they're underwater in their mortgages. They can't sell it, and the people that want to buy it can't afford to buy those houses. Our tax base is shrinking, the mills are shutting down, and we're in the middle of an affordability crisis and a housing crisis. That's not a healthy housing market. A few years back, my wife and I actually we talked. We were living in Victoria at the time and considering different places to live, and we said, what if we found a place anywhere in Canada where it was below our means? And literally, the only place in Canada that we could find to live that would have been below our means was the east coast of Newfoundland. There's nothing else out there. Inflation. Why are houses so expensive? Housing prices have surged in the last decade, and that's because of a silent tax nobody votes for, and it's inflation. The only place that's made is at the printing presses, and we've doubled our money supply in the last 10 years. Housing prices have quadrupled since 2005. That's the backdrop we're operating in. Now, layer on top of this, since 2000, Canada's population has grown by 11 million people. That's about 25%, mostly through immigration. And I'm proud to be a country that welcomes new people. We're a multicultural society. But here's the disconnect. Federal growth and local housing are out of sync. Newcomers need homes. Our kids need homes. And those kids, they're adults now. Seniors want to downsize, and they need a place to go, and they got nowhere to go. And here we are debating 120 to 130 units. That's too much. Delays. I'm not here to point fingers, but I've had 2 projects come to this board table in the last calendar year that are bordering on a decade. I am surprised that developers even try. I attended a housing conference 2 years ago, and at that housing conference, when the market was still good, they were saying BC needed in the next, I think it was the next 20 years, we need, in addition to what was already going to be coming on, we needed an extra 600,000 new front doors of every type. I personally think housing should be treated as essential infrastructure. Can you imagine if we treated water the way we treat housing? I'm not here to fix everything for everyone, but I can say yes to this project, and I can impact the trajectory of hundreds of people's lives. So what's local government's responsibility? We have been given this quiet but enormous power. We can say yes or we can say no, but nobody's going to come tap us on the shoulder and tell us the right thing to do. Jurisdictions like Victoria and the Capital Regional District have been doing everything they can for a long time now, building purpose-built rentals, the missing middle, family homes, and aspirational housing. We need it all. When BC Builds came to us and said, do you have any land? We're going to get to work and we're going to build something for you. We had nothing to give them. The economic benefit. Think about what this means economically for our region. More customers at the shopping center, more viability for small businesses, more jobs, more spin-off investment. Can you imagine if shelter costs were 10% of people's gross income? What that would mean instead of 40 to 50%? Like, we're living in outrageous times. Think about what it could mean for restaurants, retail, recreation, community life. Housing just isn't shelter. It can be an economic fuel, especially as we're going through these challenging economic headwinds. Now, for empathy, I want to specifically speak to people that were born in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and remember what it was like to graduate from high school and to strike out into the world and maybe get married, maybe go to university, scratch together a few $1,000s and buy a house. Like, that is just, your contemporaries are saving hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into the market and having to stay with their parents. They're delaying having families, they're delaying having kids. Just imagine if we say yes to this project, all the new friendships, all the new memories, all the new neighbors that will be created by it. So this is where leadership comes in my opinion. I can count on one hand how many times I voted against the director of the area because typically they know their area best. But my oath of office is to the region. The referral to the back to the APC or to negotiate, they've made their position clear and we will be going against it. And this is where leadership matters in my opinion. This location checks every single box. It's in the village, it's within the growth containment boundary. I might be incorrect on that, I thought it was. Adjacent to services, it's walkable, transit's nearby. We need to give people places to live. There will be a public hearing if this does go forward, and we will let the public speak on it. If supporting housing costs us politically, then so be it. Leadership isn't about playing it safe. I think the Cowichan Valley and this committee needs to say that we're open for business. I'll be supporting this development, and I hope he makes money, because when this project succeeds, they come back with more housing options for us to say yes to. We don't need another study. We don't need a regional growth strategy to know that this makes sense. I'll be voting for option 4 if we're allowed, with one amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Director McLean.